Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today we have a Q&A all about firsts in our 20s. I have roped in my work wife Lois for this. We're at slightly different phases of our 20s, so I thought it would be nice to have two different perspectives. And we've taken a mixture of questions from all sorts of places, but mostly from my Instagram stories. I put out a little Insta story for that the other day, so thank you very much for your questions. So this video is sponsored by Clairol Nice N, and they are running a really lovely campaign at the moment, which is based around celebrating your first greys as another first of your life, and not it being like a really scary or negative experience, and dyeing your hair because you want to and not because you feel you need to, and that you need to cover your greys, which I personally love because it's very different to a lot of other hair dye ads out there. Which brings me to the first question in our Q&A firsts. Have you had your first grey hair yet?
No, I haven't.
I haven't either, but I feel like it's coming. I feel like I must be at that point.
When was your mum's first grey hair?
I think she was around 32, so but she has dyed her hair a lot in her life. My mum is very, very dark, like this dark, but she loves being a blonde. When was your mum's first grey hair?
It was like recently. She's like early to mid 40s. I feel like she's 44. I'm really sorry about
I love that you don't know how old
she forgets how old I am. She's like, are you 22 or 23? I can't remember. And she got maybe her first one a few years ago or something. And my dad's gone a little bit grey in his beard, I think.
Oh, my dad's beard is fully grey.
Really?
But he's like late 50s now. He won't like me saying that. He's late 50s now. So yeah, I feel like mine is coming, and I feel like what I want to do is, once that starts happening, I really want to start having a lot of fun with my hair colour.
Yeah. Like,
that's always been my thing. I've just been like, okay, when I start going grey, I want to have like a lot of fun with it until I'm like fully grey. Yeah. And then I just want to be grey. Like your granny. Yeah. She has the best hair. Yeah, it's like that really white, blonde, grey. Lois's grandparents are so cool, it hurts me. Like, they are so incredibly cool, and they're both like, they've both gone grey really naturally, and it just looks incredible. So I'm really excited for that phase in my life where I can be like completely grey. But up until like the point where my hair is all kind of like one colour, all unified, I'm gonna have some fun with it. So I might go very like white blonde for a bit, I might go pink. I'm just gonna kind of really have fun with my hair colour. But yeah, my mum kind of she wasn't really too fussed about her first grey. What are you gonna do? Are you gonna go grey?
Yes, but I want to, like, once I start getting them, I think I will like go like white, silvery kind of colour. Like, you'll dye it silvery white.
You'll really enjoy that because you're always trying to get blonder anyway.
I want to be blonde all the time. So next question is, what's the one thing that's changed the most throughout your 20s?
Me. I feel like my 20s so far have been such a huge learning curve, and there's been so many new experiences, which I love because I love change. I feel like I'm never really fully settled, and I've loved everything, every part of it, but I do feel like it's changed me because there's been so many challenges, so many new life experiences. I just feel like I'm a completely different person to who I was 7 years ago when I started my 20s. Had so many different jobs. I've started running my own business. I moved out of my house, started therapy. Like, there's just been so many different things going on.
So I would say me as well, but I'm only 23, so I've still got like a lot of my 20s to go. I think from like 20 to now I've done like a lot of growing up. I feel like more capable than I thought I was.
I think just in like the past like 6 months alone, I feel like you've gone through so many different things. Like the past year alone, I think you've kind of like
definitely
developed a lot. Talking about you like you're a Polaroid film. When did you first move out? What was the process? Was it easy deciding on moving, and the actual move, was it easy? Did you struggle to be away from your family?
I reckon our experiences of this are kind of quite different, because I went to uni and I moved out when I was 19, but I only moved down the road basically. Like, when I say that, I mean like my parents lived in Lewis and then I moved to Brighton for uni, but it was still like such a daunting thing for me. I was just a very anxious person at that point. I just kind of learnt to be a bit more independent and like on my own, and not be like, oh, I need my parents.
Did you miss them?
I did, but I was able to see them like all the time. It was quite easy, it was good. What about you?
So for me, moving out was possibly the easiest decision of my life. My family are all quite big, strong characters, and having us all under the same roof is basically a recipe for disaster. And I got to 20 and I was really struggling to be at home, and by 21 I just went one day, got to work, and I was like, I'm gonna move. I'm gonna just have some flat viewings.
I'm leaving.
Literally, I didn't talk to anyone about it. So I just came home from work one day. I was like, so I viewed like 3 flats today. My family were okay. And it was a really easy decision. I didn't struggle to be away from my parents at all. They raised me to be very, very, very independent. Yeah, and I think by that point, because I was a couple of years older than you were when you moved out, I'd had like a few kind of like really solid, good jobs by that point, and my confidence was like quite high, and I felt very capable, so I didn't feel like, oh my god, I'm moving out, I don't know what I'm doing. I was just like, get me out of it.
Leading on from that question, when was the first time you were like financially independent from your parents?
Age 15. I didn't get like a lot of pocket money or anything, so I basically got to 15 and I was like, I need a job. I really need a job, because I love Starbucks and I just want to spend all my money on a Frappuccino every Saturday. I literally used to get like £10 a week, and after you buy a Starbucks Frappuccino with all of the like trimmings, you're basically like, you've got like
none left,
£5 left. So I basically was like, I'm gonna go get a job, and I went and got the crappiest job at a children's play centre. Yeah, and that was kind of me sorted, and I feel like that was like a game changer for me, was like, oh, I can make my own money. I don't have to ask you guys for money. What about you?
I'm very different from that, and I want to caveat it with I'm always so grateful that my parents were able to help me until I graduated, basically, so this year. But I literally refused to get a job until my second year of college. My parents...
Like 17, 18?
17, I think I was. I think I was in my like last year of school. My dad was like, why don't you get a job in like a cafe? And I was like, no.
It was so different. I used to literally skip school to go to work.
I think if I hadn't, because I was very lucky again, because my parents are divorced, so I'd get pocket money from my mum, pocket money from my dad, and from my grandparents.
What?
Yeah. So I used to get about 50 quid a month.
I wouldn't have worked.
School and stuff. So I was like, woo, great. That, like, at that time, that's enough to do stuff at the weekend.
I mean, that beats my £10 a week.
I feel very, I am very like privileged and lucky. Like, I'm not going to deny that.
So this one I feel like applies to me more.
Okay.
But the question is, what are your goals for your final years of your 20s, which you've got a long way to go. Okay. So what's your goals for the rest of your 20s?
Oh, for the rest of my 20s, I want to learn to drive, at least by the end of my 20s.
I think that's solid.
That needs to happen.
That will happen. I'm gonna make it happen, because the amount of times I'm like, if you could just give me a
drive,
lift and I could put you on my insurance, that would be fab.
So I want to learn to drive. I think that's the only like solid goal that I need to do before at the end of my 20s. And I'd love to have my own place, like a little place, but my own place. Yeah. But that's not like a thing that I'm like, this needs to happen, otherwise I'm gonna be really upset. It's fine. I'll still be a happy person. Yeah. So yeah. What about you?
I don't know, because I feel like I've done a lot of stuff.
Yeah, you have.
Which is very unexpected. There were things that were in my life goals that I've crossed off already. Like the house that I live in is like part of a group of houses that when I was like 5 years old, I used to turn to my mum and be like, Mum, what job do I have to do to live in one of those houses? So that was like a huge thing that's been ticked off, and I'm like, okay, done that now. Like I'm ready for like a new chapter in my life. And I'm kind of at a point where I'm like reassessing my life and making new goals, because I've actually ticked off so many, which is incredible. And I'm just like, hashtag, what is it? How do you do a hashtag? Hashtag blessed.
Oh, I just do it like this. Hashtag.
Yeah, I feel like I'm at a point in my life where I'm like reassessing everything and making new goals. There used to be like kids and getting married on my list before I was 30, and now I honestly couldn't give about that. What do I want to do? I have some financial goals that I would like to reach. I'd like to own a property before I'm 30. Maybe not even that I live in, but maybe I rent it out. But I'd like to like own somewhere. I'd like to drive a Range Rover before I'm 30. But yeah, I'm kind of figuring myself out again, because I feel like everything has changed so much in the past year that I'm kind of like refiguring out my life a little bit. So I feel like we're kind of at the same stage where we're like, what are we doing? What are we doing with our life? Let's go get coffee.
The answer to everything.
Oh, and I also wanted to visit Japan. That was on my list.
Oh yeah, that would be amazing.
I would love to do that with you, because I think we'd just like go around the like little arcade things where they have the Pokemon in it and be like, ah!
Okay, so when was the first time that you felt like an adult and not a teenager anymore?
I think that's that question. I feel like people often ask that in hopes that like that moment is coming for them. I'm gonna burst the bubble on that a little bit, and I genuinely think I don't think there's like that many people in the world that genuinely feel like an adult all the time. My mum is a bit of an old soul, and I think she's always been an adult even when she was really, really young. She's always been really grown up, but I feel like me and you, we are like children on the inside. And there's a lot of like my 20s where I've just felt like I use this analogy a lot, but like, you know, you grow into like these adult shoes that you're wearing, and I felt like a lot of my 20s I've been walking around in like these shoes that are way too big for me, and just literally the vision of it is just brilliant. It's like these giant boots that like don't really fit.
I used to do that when you were little, put your mum's shoes on. I used to love it. I'd be like walking around the house with like high heels on. She'd be like, for God's sake, take them off, you'll break your neck.
Because we've all done that. It doesn't matter whose shoes it is, and I genuinely have always felt like that. And even like there'd be points where I felt like an adult, but I wasn't fully there, so it felt like I was wearing a pair of shoes inside a bigger pair of shoes. Have you ever done that? Where you've like put your, like with a guy's shoes, where you've like had your Vans on and you've put your foot inside their Vans. Like then felt like that, so I was kind of like imposter syndroming a little bit, where you're like, okay, it fits, but it doesn't really, I'm just kind of cheating. That's been like so much of my 20s, is just cheating and making it look like I'm an adult, and actually I'm just like having a slight crisis behind the scenes. But I feel like this year I started really actually like taking care of myself, doing things that I didn't really want to do but that were good for me, and I feel like I've started to fill my boots a little bit more. Do you have moments where you feel like you're actually an adult and not a teenager?
Kind of, but not really. Like when I get bills, or like, okay, so I haven't given my meter reading still, and it's been like a month. Just like I really can't be bothered. So I'm like, no, I'm just not an adult, I'm not doing these things.
I still had it for a long time where I'd get scared when I got post. Like I just was like, I don't know what to do with this. And I don't really feel like that anymore. I used to feel scared to log onto my online banking, which is hilarious because I've never like had an issue financially. But I used to get scared because numbers used to really scare me, and now things like that don't scare me so much anymore. So I feel like that's little things like that make me feel a bit more like I've got my shiz together.
When you turned 20, did you feel like a pressure to like have all your shiz together?
No. I think given my personality, I think my parents were very kind of relaxed with expecting me to have my shiz together, because I don't think anyone like who knows me well ever thinks that I will fully kind of have it together. But that is just, I think because they know me, they just knew that like I would settle in my own time and there wasn't any pressure. But I honestly, I've got like younger cousins and things like that, and if I heard someone expecting them to have their like everything together at 20, I'd be like, no, that is a completely unrealistic expectation. I feel like there's I think a lot of people feel the pressure to know what they want to do with their life and have it all figured out at 20, and that is a completely unrealistic expectation. I was very fortunate in that I have always been very work orientated. I love working, and I kind of I'm self-motivated. I'm always competing with myself, so I always have like things that I want to do and challenge myself and things like that. I mean, that's not like everyone, and I think part of feeling successful at 20 and feeling like you have it all together is actually being really accepting of yourself, knowing what you want to do there and then, knowing what your current goals are and working towards those, and not really worrying too much about the future and having everything, having a boyfriend, having a job, having savings, having a house. Like that is so much pressure at 20, and your life is long. Your life like is so long
about it at like 20 years old, honestly.
No, and your life changes so much just within like 6 months. Everything can change so much, so just don't there's no rush, there is no pressure. And I think the less pressure you put on yourself, the easier things kind of figure themselves out.
Definitely. My dad always said, so my dad was really young when he got married to my mum and had me, and whenever I like talk about relationships with him, he's like, love, don't worry, you're still so young. And I'm like, oh yeah, I am. I kind of forget that. I'm like, I'm 23. Oh wait, I've got ages.
I just think like the more you kind of just do life, the more you like learn and experience everything in life, the more you settle into yourself, and then you kind of define your own version of success, what having it figured out means to you, and really prioritizing what you actually want versus what other people around you want for you.
I also think like your 20s is like, you should just enjoy the process and like the journey of just like discovering what you like, discovering what you want to do.
I really liked this question.
Yeah.
First time traveling solo. So we've both got like, you've got a recent anecdote for this, and I just really remember my first time, so I like this question.
The first time I like flew on my own, like a long journey, was to Dubai this year, February, and like a year or two ago I literally would have been like freaking out about that. Like it would have been such an ordeal to like just get myself there and like get on a plane and then like all of that stuff. So I was like really proud of myself for like just doing it and being like, oh,
I was proud of you too.
I'm actually fine. Like this was great. Like it was easy and like whatever. So, and now I'm just kind of like, I feel a bit more independent in that sense.
Yeah, I was 24 and I have always been the worst traveller. So I was going to Barcelona for a shoot with a brand, and I didn't have any kind of managers with me or anything like that. And I was so nervous, and I used to get really weird flying without someone, especially if it wasn't my ex. I'd just get so funny about like flying, and I remember I cried the whole way out there, and there was a lot of turbulence. But then I got out there and I was so happy to be there, and I enjoyed myself so much. It was like really, really hard work and really long days, but I loved it. And it was such a like confidence boost for me. And then coming home, because you get that movement beyond, like you're thinking about what you're going to do when you get home, it's so much easier. And that movement beyond, if you have travel anxiety, is so important. Like having that, what you're going to do when you get off the plane, use it on the way out there. And it made everything so much easier. And I just remember how much more confident I was just for having done that one trip. That one very short trip on my own. I felt so good for it, and I just honestly can't recommend traveling alone and learning to like be comfortable alone enough in your 20s. Like it's really, really important.
Definitely.
We were joking about this one last night.
Yeah.
First I'm getting old moment.
I couldn't really think of one, could I? Apart from I just thought of one.
I did love your original. Can we just talk about your original reaction?
So my original one, I was like, I can't really think of one, except one time I got really excited about an apple scented antibacterial spray because it smelled nice.
And then you just went, that's about it.
That's about it. Apart from, okay, I've just thought of one, and I actually really enjoy going food shopping.
Yeah, I really enjoy going food shopping with you though.
Yeah, I really like to take my time. Hey, getting an online order because I just want to be in the shop and I want to see stuff.
Yeah, no, I like doing that.
Yeah. No. What about you? When was the first time you were like, oh my god, I'm old?
Probably not the first time, but last night Lois was texting me and it was like the middle of the night, and I was so tired, and I was just like, one of my responses to you was like, I don't know, maybe you should, and I mean you do you, but I think what you should do is you should go to bed and sleep on it and see how you know. I was like, I'm such a mum.
Yeah, she literally sounded like what my mum used to say, because you were like, nothing's gonna be sorted at this time of night, so just
oh my god, that was it, that was it. I was just like literally lying in bed like, I'm so tired, it's hurting me. Like, I need you to go. I think it'll be good if you go to sleep. We've got to film a video tomorrow, can you go to bed please? Yeah, also Saturdays at the moment, like Saturday nights sometimes can be spent cleaning my house, which I feel really conflicted internally about, because I love the fact that everything is clean, but then I also hate myself for doing that on a Saturday night. So what I often do is then go across the road for sweets at like a ridiculous time of night in my pyjamas, just to counteract the adulting. Yeah. So that is it for our first in our 20s little Q&A. I quite enjoyed this. Let me know if you would like me to do more like this, where we just talk about life and stuff. Yeah, because there were so many more questions, we really had to whittle down. We've actually been filming for like well over an hour. Hello, it's me, I'm popping in from the future. I wanted to just kind of pop in and outro this video properly, because Lois and I were quite giggly and I felt like I just didn't really do the outro justice. But I just wanted to thank you all so much for watching this Q&A on firsts in your 20s. Please do let me know if you would like to see more videos like this. I really hope some of you found it helpful or interesting. Please don't forget to also share your first as well in the comments below. I'll pop the campaign hashtag that you can use in your comments on the screen, and I'll also link to the Clairol campaign in the info box as well. I'd love to know your thoughts and feelings as well on if you're approaching your first grey, or how you felt when you had your first grey and what you did or plan on doing. Let me know down below. I'm personally on the side of do whatever you want to your hair because you want to and not because you need to, and I'd love to know where you stand as well. Comments are down there, you know where they are. But anyway, that is it from me today. I hope you're all having the best day, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye.